Welcome back to Lean Class. This is our last chapter together, and we're going to discuss fishbone diagram, cause and effect diagram. It's generally called the fishbone because it resembles a fish. It's got a head and some spines. You can see the cause right here and the effects. I like to say that the fishbone is a brainstorming tool, but it's brainstorming in a structured format. The technique is simple. We use a graphics tool like the one on the board, and we relate causes of a problem to the problem itself. Here we see that the problem stated as a question is, why did the website go down? And we can see from the board itself that if we're unable to connect to the server, website's going to go down. But that's not enough detail. We need to be able to dig deep into why we are unable to connect to the server. Well, if the web server is overloaded, we will not be able to connect to the server and website's going to go down. So as you can see, the diagram focuses on the causes rather than the effect. Because there are a number of causes, things are not going to just jump out at you. If you're a manager, you use the fishbone in process improvement to identify all of the contributing root causes likely to be causing a problem to your group or one of the processes that you're working with. You can see that as a manager, you're going to benefit from constructing fishbone diagrams because it's very easy to learn. We include a template in the meeting invite. It's visual, so it's easy to work with. If you're a subject matter expert, you definitely want to use the fishbone because it's going to help you with the root causes of a single effect or output. In this particular case, we have bad coffee. And you can see the symptoms that are causing the bad coffee. As you drill down, you become more specific. We give you many examples in the uh, class notes and class material. They're all in your Outlook invite. Here in this particular example, you see poor quality. And you see the categories. Some people call it the 6M's, some people call it the 6P's. Um, this used to be man, but now it's workers. That was one of the M's. And then machinery, right? And material. Here's material, raw material. And Mother Nature was then environment, which then became work conditions. But it used to be called 6M's or 6P's. Here's one that gives you a problem. Why are discharge delays, right? Why are there delays in discharges? And you can see the causes. Again, this is a brainstorming tool. You want to do it in a team environment, preferably in the Gemba, preferably at the work site. You can do this in a room, but it works best when you're at the work site where the problem meets the customer. Here you can see, why are call times exceeding 2 minutes? Well, if you can't find the model number and you're unable to describe the problem, right, then it's going to be more than 2 minutes because the customer lacks knowledge to be able to explain to the customer service rep taking the call. So here we have service issues, the 6Ps. It could be people, it could be process, policies, promotions, physical evidence, productivity. Even when done backwards, the fishbone diagram works because there are many causes to a problem, not just one. Just remember that when you're doing fishbone, one of these categories is not going to blink at you, I am the problem. It is usually a combination of two or three smaller categories. Here's an example of one done on a whiteboard. So you can see that because there are a number of causes for a particular problem, this technique helps us to identify the root causes of the problem in a structured and uncomplicated way. The best time to use it, right, is to analyze and find root causes to different types of problems that you may have when there are many different types of possible causes to the problem itself. Not great to use it if the problem is simple or already known. It's kind of a waste of time. If the team is super small, it's not really great. You want a large team when you do your brainstorming, and you want to preferably have a cross-functional team so that different people bring in different perspectives, a group of managers, a group of workers, and a group of different areas of the organization, right? If there's a time constraint, if we only have 20 minutes to do a fishbone, not a great time to go ahead and utilize a fishbone. So we want to definitely define the problem as a question. That's always best. Again, we want to go ahead and brainstorm. We should have a check sheet with us. That would be great. Maybe a flow chart would be helpful. That's always nice. We want to categorize the method, the people, the management, the measurements, the materials, and the machines being used. And then later we want to identify the causes, right? What are the reasons and sub-reasons why we're having these problems? In this particular one, we see late deliveries. We put in our categories, we vote on it as a group, and we come up with some possible causes, but there's not enough detail here. The reason that materials, we run out of ingredients, that's not enough detail. Yeah, that's giving us a late delivery, but we need to put more detail behind why we're running out of ingredients. Once we know why we're running out of ingredients, therefore we know what to do in order not to have late deliveries. So I'll let you read this for yourself. I'm not going to read it to you. And here we have a bit more detail. So late deliveries, materials were running out of ingredients. Why? Because we didn't order in time. Wow, we didn't order in time because there's no reorder point identified. Nobody has like a red card that says, hey, you're getting low on this ingredient. We need to reorder it now before we run out and have late deliveries. That was very useful. Here we go. The team is working together to identify, and it's usually a combination of two. A combination of two. Here's a combination of four. Four areas why we have late deliveries. So this concludes our conversation about fishbone diagram, cause and effect diagram. If you have any questions, contact Al Diaz. Thanks for joining. Have yourself a great rest of the day.